So the first thing we're going to need to do is go to the JMRI website. So JMRI, and you're going to look for the download section. So obviously I've searched in the past, so it comes up with this. But once you're on the JMRI site, you've got releases. So if you haven't come automatically to the releases page, you need to come to here. The next thing you need to do is click on a Raspberry Pi OS. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to here where it says pre-built images available. This will take us to Steve Todd's website. And this is the guy who's made the images available. Now you're going to need at least a 16 gigabyte micro SD card or larger. And then the next thing, we're going to want this image here. This gives us the latest build version, which is 5.12 at the moment. Now this offers us LCC Pro, although we do have to do a little bit more just to get this working on this system at the moment. So we're going to start here by clicking here. And here you see this here. So we're going to go to download. Now here you can see it's over 1.8 gigabytes, so the virus software can't do its virus check on it, but I'm going to trust it anyway and download anyway. It's then asking me what to call it and where's it going to do it. I'm going to go with just click save. And this is going to take a few minutes for it to download and be available within our download folder. So the next thing we need to get, and I'm doing it slightly different to how Steve showed it there, I'm going to suggest we use Noobs. And if we search that on here, you'll see it comes up with this site. So the Raspberry Pi project, if we click here, then this takes a few seconds to load, and we need to go to here. And obviously mine's slightly different colour because I've already done this in the past, but I'll do it again. So we click here, and then you need to choose your operating system. Now at the moment I'm using the Windows machine, so I'm going to click on Download Windows. And the reason I'm going to suggest you take a look at this Noobs is because it allows you to choose different operating systems for your Raspberry Pi, as well as using other people's images. So again, this is going to take a little while to download. So I'll show you once they're downloaded where we get started. So here's my download folder, and the first thing we need to do is now install the imager. So you're going to get this box, so click yes. It's then going to ask you which language you want to use. I want English, so click OK. And then we go to next. You've got to then accept the use of it and click next. Create a desktop shortcut, next. And just let this go through its install. Once it's finished, click finish. And here you'll see we've got a desktop icon here. So this would be the one that you're going to click on. Obviously I asked it to start anyway. So the next thing we need to do is choose our device. Now in my case I'm going to be using the Raspberry Pi 4. You might have a 5, a 0W or whatever, but I'm going to use a Raspberry Pi 4. The next thing we need to do is go to choose OS. Now the reason I showed you this is this gives you the options of different things depending what you'd like to use your Raspberry Pi for. You might not want to use it for the likes of JMRI. You might just want it as a standard as a Raspberry Pi. You can choose this operating system, and from this one you could actually then install JMRI separately. But for today we're going to look at using a custom image. So we've got to find it, and the one we want is this one here, the Raspberry Pi, and it's finishing in a .xy. So we click on that and we say open. The next thing we've got to do is choose our storage. and here you can see I've got a 128GB SD card in my D drive. Well, it's actually within my USB stick holder, so I'm going to choose this. So we click on next, and we want to go to here. Now this is up to you. So what I wouldn't change, I'd leave the name as Pi. You can put a password in here if you wish. You can also set up your Wi-Fi at this stage if you want. So I've done that. Once you've done that, you need to click Save. Then it says here, do you want to use it or no? So I want to use that, so I'm going to click Yes. Now it's going to give you a warning. All existing data on the SD card is going to be wiped. Are you sure you want to continue? And click Yes. Now this is where I'd suggest you go and make yourself a cup of tea. But one important thing, it's important to cancel this if it comes up on your screen, because you actually have got the drive in there. So just click cancel, and as I say, go and make yourself a cup of tea, and I will speed the video up. So once you get this on, click here, and it's saying to you, you're now okay to remove the drive from your USB slot on your PC. So at this point now, we're finished with the PC. Okay, so I've got the SD card in the memory slot here. I've got a HDMI lead going to this monitor here, and here is the power button. I'm going to try and show you what happens. So when we press the power button, you'll see LED is flashing. And at this stage you'll see the monitor does this. The LED is still flashing, and we can see it's going into different phases here. What you find then, it says no cable connected. What has happened is the Raspberry Pi has shut down, ready for a reboot. So I'll press the button to turn the power supply off, turn it on again, and again on the monitor, eventually it will start to come back to life. So here we can see it's now doing the install. Now this is going to take a few minutes for it to do what it needs to do. It may even restart a couple of times, so just be patient. While the LED is flashing, you know you're happy. So here you can see the install is now finished. Now I did put a password in. If you haven't put a password in, you'll be okay. So I'll just now need to enter the password. And now the thing is starting up again. And as I say, Steve has set this all up. So he's got it running as a LocoNet simulator. It sets its own Wi-Fi up. So here you can see we've got the Y throttle. So you can connect your phone up, and this is the address that you would set it up to. So the nice thing with this image, here you can see I've got an Arduino Mega with DCC EX on it. So what happens is we can, excuse me for the camera work, we can plug in the USB lead. Now what we can do is we can quit this. This will take a few seconds. Now the nice thing is If we now click on the Panel Pro, and it'll say it's auto identify. Now this will take a little bit longer to start up, but now you can see it's starting to bring up DCC++ traffic monitor, as well as other DCC EX things for you. You'll get your server, you'll also still get your Y throttle, as well as other windows opening up. So you can see here, and I apologise for having to use a phone camera to record this, it now knows I've got DCC++ on serial port TTY ACMO. So next I can plug in my CAN USB 4, so I can use LCC, or I could plug in one of my Arduino ESP nodes using Grid Connect and set that up. The only thing we haven't got at the moment is an LCC Pro startup menu. Now I'm sure at some point maybe Steve will add this to his image file later on. Great, that's as far as I'm going to go with this today. Thank you for watching.